Welcome back to another episode of Being at Work. This is your host, Andrea Butcher, and I am so grateful to be able to bring such an energizing and inspiring episode to you today. It is guest episode number 209, and I have known today's guest and admired her for so many years. And as you will hear in her stories and the way she approaches relationships, the conversation is so reflective of who she is. So we're calling the episode today Echoes of Advocacy, because she'll remind us that your impact continues even when you're absent. I couldn't think of a better guest for this conversation. Amber Fields is the Chief Culture Officer and a partner at TrueU. Amber is an incredible connector who not only builds relationships, but also nurtures them in a way that creates lasting ripple effects. She is living proof of what it looks like to have a community of people who will advocate it for you in rooms that you aren't in. In our conversation, she shares how she intentionally builds those connections and how you can create your own echo of advocacy that carries your influence far beyond the spaces you physically occupy. So, Amber, welcome to Being at Work.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you for having me. I'm so very excited to be here and honored to be a guest.
Yeah. Well, you and I have had so many conversations about connection and community over the years. So just being able to highlight some of your key takeaways and insights for our listeners and our community is such a gift. Thank you for doing this.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
So talk about community. I mean, it is so core to who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is definitely a core value of mine. I think it was a gift that was given to me by the great Lord above to be able to intentionally put people together and to be able to sit in a room and listen to the need and say, hey, I've got the person. And I always joke, I'm not a collector of things. I'm a collector of people. And so I just make it a point in knowing who people are, what matters to them, and how I can serve them. You know, Andrea, when I sit down and meet with someone for the very first time, what I want to do is understand who they are, what they're about, and if there's any place where I can serve. And so, I want to bring value to the conversation. And I want to bring value to their life. And sometimes it looks like it's what I do and who I am or where I serve or whatever. And a lot of the time, it looks more like who I know and who I can connect them with.
And it's so natural for you. You called community a core value. So I would suspect that even little Amber and in your earlier days, you were creating community and building connections.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, Andrea, because my dad is from the Philippines and my mom is from here in Indy, and he lived in California. My parents met out there. And I came into the world, and I don't know if you know much about the Filipino culture, but they're very community-based, very. Mm-hmm. And I didn't meet my dad for the first time until I was 12. And so when I went out to California for the first time and sat down in my community, I have 10 aunts and uncles who have all these kids and all this family. For the first time in my life, it made sense as to the reason why, even at school, I was bringing people together. I had a slew of friends, and I was kind of sitting in the middle seat because I wasn't white and I wasn't a person of color. I looked different than everybody else, but I was the middle person. I was always bringing people together and having conversations. And I'm also innately that person who, if someone is in the conversation, not contributing and just listening, I'm going to pull you in. And so I feel like from a community perspective, that's really important because everybody has a voice and everybody gets a seat at the table.
What is the impact for you in having done that and building community?
Oh, in my life, throughout my whole life, it takes a village. You can't do anything alone. I have been in that space where I have felt isolated and where I have tried to do things by myself, and it just never works out. You don't have all the gifts, you don't have all the understanding. And so and I'm very collaborative in the Strength Finders. if we're talking about assessments and things,
Mhm.
collaboration is one of my top three. And when I finally went through that, I thought, why am I like community is number two and communication is number one?
It's a wicked combination.
It is. Yeah. And it's
Wow.
lonely to try to do things by yourself. And how much more fun is
Mm.
it when you can come together and collaborate with other people's ideas and other people's experiences to really come up with something amazing. And that's how I've really drawn my career. I have 5 kids. I 100% know that it takes a village and it takes more than just my husband and I to raise those rascals. 3 of them are grown and out of the house now, so 2 more to go, and it definitely takes a village to get all of that done.
Most definitely. And that serves everyone well, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's also such an abundance mindset,
Mhm.
the whole rising tides mantra. I see that in how you work with others and how you bring people together. Is that also natural for you? Is that intentional?
Absolutely. Well, there was somebody that spoke about me in a room I wasn't in many, many years ago
Hmm.
that submitted. I was going through a career crisis, and which many of your listeners probably have been through at some point in their life. I went to school to be a television news anchor. I was on on the air the day of 9/11. It didn't work out. I just, in that moment, I had enough knowingness that was like, oh no, I think I made a mistake. I don't know that I want to do this for the rest of my life. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. I'm paying for it myself.
Hmm.
What do I do? And I was getting married at the time, and my husband had 2 small children. And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to go work wherever it makes sense for me to work to take care of my family and pay for my school loans, and I'll figure it out later.
Hmm.
And about a decade later, someone said to me, you would be really great at sales. And I was like, ew, I don't want to do that. And they were like, what do you think that means? And I said, if it means serving people and it means solving problems for people and building relationships with people, then I'm in for that. And they're like, it's exactly what that is. And so as my sales career continued to grow, one of my very good friends worked at Verizon, and she said, I have a candidate. I have someone that I think would be really great at this job, and I would love for you to interview her. And so she introduced me to a woman by the name of Rebecca Borman, who is on my personal board of directors today. And I'm in the interview with her. My advocate, the person who put me in the room, said, I think you need to ask them, based on everything that we've gone through today, is there any reason why you wouldn't hire me? And so at the end of the interview, after everything, we talked about everything, I did my proposal pitch and everything. I said, based on everything we talked about, is there any reason why you wouldn't hire me? And they said, and they kind of stalled out and looked, and they were like, no one's ever asked us that before.
Wow.
And it was one of those moments, Andrea, where I was stunned. I can't even believe that it came out of my mouth because I was
Yeah.
scared. It was one of those moments of like, I'm going to stretch outside of my comfort zone and say the thing. And if I don't get the job, then it wasn't meant for me to begin with. And they said, no. I said, great. Then when do I start? And they just kind of sat there like, this chick is for real. I walked,
Damn.
I sat in the parking lot, like coming off of this, like I was so high off this confidence. I was like, wow, that was fun.
And you got the job, surely.
And they called me while I was still sitting in the parking lot and
Wow.
said, you're hired and you start, on this day. And so it was just one of those like moments in your life where you're
Right.
like scared to death, and it was worth it because that job really set the trajectory for me in understanding about business, understanding what matters to business, helping
Mm.
leaders grow their people. Verizon
Mhm.
had an incredible learning and development way of doing things. They had a great culture for such a large organization. Even their subcultures were really great. And one of the greatest gifts Verizon ever gave me was I was in a cohort, a learning and development cohort, and I had a capstone that I had to give. And
Wow.
they said it was around marketing. I was in sales. I didn't know anything about marketing. And I jokingly said, it'd be really fun to go to Verizon and ask the person who's actually doing this work, Diego Scotti. And I asked my teacher, I was like, has he ever had anybody shadow him before? And they were like, no. They sent me to New Jersey, and I got to
Oh,
sit with the chief
wow.
marketing officer of all of Verizon for an entire day. I met his kids. I happened to be there on a day that they were recording a documentary. And so I got to meet Jamie Foxx. I have pictures of him. It was the coolest pivotal moment of my career. And
Yeah.
then I turned around and left them because when you grow in leadership like that, I found another great opportunity. And so, yeah, someone advocated for me in a room that I wasn't in that set my trajectory for my career that has been on fire ever since.
Oh my gosh. What an incredible story. The other thing I love about that story is you asking for what you wanted. Why not put that out there? And look at where it led.
Yeah, the answer is always no if you don't ask.
Yeah, exactly. So why not?
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Right. I mean, and I will remember exactly where I was when I got the email back. I emailed him and his assistant, and his
Yeah.
assistant emailed me back and said, yes, we would love to have you. And no, no one's ever asked this before.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible.
So cool. So lots of really cool things about this story. But back to the original point of the story,
Hmm.
that's the impact of someone advocating for you.
Hmm.
What were the circumstances that led to them advocating for you? Like, how does that happen?
Through mentorship, her and I were sitting down and we were having a conversation. I felt stuck in my career. And I said, I don't know what I want yet. I was too young to really understand where my gifts and talents were, what I really wanted out of a career, because I had been thrown off kilter early in my career, and I just did not feel good about who I was and
Yeah.
what I was good at. And so I needed somebody to speak that back into me and help me
Mm-hmm.
remember who I was and what I was made for.
Mm.
And both of these ladies did this. There was actually two. One of them, her name was Dawn Bratton, and we just met through networking, and she took a liking to me, and we talked about, she was a little bit older than me. She's retired now, living her best life out on the lake with her husband. And the other one, her name is Danielle Stiles, and we are still friends today, but they saw
Wow.
something in me that I could not in that moment see for myself. And they went and talked to someone about me in a room that I wasn't in, that led me to the interview that
Yeah.
100% led me to where I am today.
So mentorship is a big part of it.
Hmm.
Like, and you building relationships with them so that they could see those gifts and pass them on.
That's right.
Because I suspect that there are people listening to this that are probably thinking, like, I want someone to do that. Like, I want someone to be an advocate for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, yes. And I think that it's something that's not often talked about. I think it's probably
Yeah.
happening, but people just don't realize that it's happening. So mentorship is huge. I just did a talk a couple of weeks ago for an organization, and the young ladies in there were like, "Well, how do you get a mentor? How do you even go about having that conversation?" And it's, for me, it's been organic. You meet people, you try to bring value to them, and you help them, and then you have to make the ask.
Mm-hmm.
I see something in you that I think that I could benefit from, and I would love it if you would help me do that. And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes it might be no. Probably not because they don't want to help you, but it could be capacity or maybe their own confidence in helping you in that area. But we were born to serve. We were born to want to help others. And I believe that it's just human nature to want to help bring others along on the journey. But we do have to be confident in who we are and ask this person, would you be willing to help me understand where my next steps are or how you got to where you are? Because I don't know where I'm headed, but where you are looks like someplace that interests me.
Yeah. So being willing to make the ask, we're back to that. We're back to like being willing to put yourself out there and risk rejection or risk the no, but why not?
Yes.
Yeah. I think about several years ago when I was doing the certified master program for the leadership challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And there were all these people that were mentors through that process. But I really wanted Barry Posner, one of the authors, to be my mentor. I had heard that he had mentored a couple of other people. And so I kind of asked around a little bit, and then everybody was like, well, gosh, he's got so much going on. And I'm like, well, why not? So I called him up and he said yes.
It's
So
amazing.
just having the courage and taking the time to make the ask. You never know.
Yes. And understanding that you're worth it, because a part of us have seen in the past is there's a worthiness issue that pops up that says, I'm not worthy of their time.
Yeah.
They're too busy. They don't have time for me. And it could be the case, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not because you're not worth it or because you don't matter.
Mm-mm.
It could be something in them that says, right? So you have to make the ask and at least give them the opportunity, especially if you feel that vibe, if you feel them that connection and you're open and willing to learn and to grow, because not every mentor is going to keep it warm and fuzzy as they shouldn't. They got to tell you the good things and they got to tell you the hard things too.
Yeah. Well, and there's something to gain from every relationship, isn't there? From everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
every conversation. From people that I've met one time in a 30-minute conversation to people that I've known for 30 years.
Yeah. So, as a collector of people and someone who naturally will create community, how do you discern, is this a long term relationship that I really want to nurture? Is this
Mhm.
short term? Like, talk us through your thinking about connection and what to do with the relationship.
Yeah, that's a great question, Andrea. I love that. Very thought provoking. I would say it's not something that I put too much thought into. It's
Mm,
really about it's a two-way street because relationships are reciprocal. And so, yes, I 100% meet people on a whim in a short blip. It's why I'm intentional about every interaction because I don't
mm,
know if this relationship is long term. And a long time ago, I move really fast. I talk really fast. I do lots of things really fast, and I wasn't present where I was. I was already like when I was with somebody, I was already when I'm at home with the kids, I'm thinking about work. When I'm at
mhm,
work, I'm thinking about the kids. I was never, and one of my leaders at Verizon actually said, you need to be where your feet are because you are missing opportunities for connection because you're not actually present. And that's not how you build relationships because you're missing things. And it stalled me out. I was like, how many times have I done that? Because you don't know if you have this person for
mhm.
30 seconds for a season. You don't know. And for me, it's about impact. It's about building connection and it happens organically. And interestingly, I'm a woman of faith. I think that God continues to put people in your life for a reason and a season and on purpose.
Yeah.
And I can give you scenario after
Yeah.
scenario. I was just with a young woman today. I met her at Jubilation. I was connected to her through a woman by the name of Sarah Robinson. And I will have you know that there are 3 times since I have met her, a month or so ago, that we have ended up back in each other's sphere at church, at a random Starbucks on a
Ah,
Thursday afternoon. So I'm like, okay, I see you. I see there's a reason why you keep showing up and
yeah.
I'm going to pay attention to that. So I think to answer your question directly, Andrea, it's about organic and you both will know and you can figure out a way to serve each other with intention. And it's okay if in that moment there isn't because you never know down the road when that relationship might resurface.
Yeah. So it's got to be organic, it's got to be natural. You trust life and what's coming to you. You've identified like this is a person I want to be in a relationship with. What are some of the things that you do to nurture that relationship?
I first have to understand what matters to them. And so I can think about, I think about sending people podcasts or sending them books or just sending them a note. I'm that person, and all my friends will tell you, even if we haven't talked for months, I'm the person that as soon as you pop in my brain, I'm going to send you a text and say, hey, thinking about you. Hope everything's going
Mhm.
well. And they come back and go, that's so weird. I was just thinking about you. Actually, it happened so intentionally. One day, I had sent a text to one of my friends, Tawana, in the morning, and I will have you know that I ran into her at Java House that afternoon. And we were both looking at each other like,
Of course you did.
how did we get here? And we're hugging on the sidewalk. We're like, and that was a random decision for me
Yeah.
to go down there. It's just funny how life works like that. But it's about bringing value to them. And it's about showing empathy and compassion for their circumstances and being someone that helps, bring life to them.
Yeah. Well, and then just the energy of the
Mhm.
connection that you sent her something and then saw her later the day. Like I love that. Like it's all
Yeah, it was really fun. It was one of those moments I was like,
that's so fun.
intention is real. Because in the message, I said, I miss your face.
Yeah.
It's been too long. Would love to see you. She goes walking across the sidewalk. I was like, okay, that's pretty strong.
And the nudges that life gives us
Yeah.
is a way of saying, like, this person matters.
Yeah.
So what if you don't click? I mean, I think sometimes we click and sometimes we clink, and
Yeah.
that's okay too. Have you had situations like that where, gosh, I know for me, sometimes I feel like, gosh, I should really want to connect with this person, or I need to build this relationship. It just naturally, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
What's that like for you? What do you do in those situations?
It's really okay. Because you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You cannot be everything to everyone. I was just telling one of my mentees this yesterday. You get to be who you need to be for that person in the moment of interaction. And then you get to leave it where it is. Leave people better than you found them.
Mm.
And it's okay if it's not
Yes.
something that's going to be continuous over time, because that's really unrealistic.
Right. Yeah, I saw something just yesterday that was like, yeah, it's not everyone is gonna respond to your light in the same way, but that means, like, keep shining it.
Yes.
Those that really need it will seek it out.
And there are some that take time, Andrea. I can think of when I very first met Rebecca, she was very walled off. She was very distant, very protected. And I just kind of laughed because I was like, oh, that's cute. We're going to be friends and you're going to love me. It might take a minute, but I got this. Like, I'm getting it. And now
Is woo one of your top strengths?
it's one of my top 10. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you got to win her over.
I'll win her over. Mm-hmm. Yep. And it worked. And she just laughs today because she was like, you were very intentional about that. I was like, I knew that we were put together for a purpose and a reason. And it wasn't short term, it was long term. And I just needed to be patient with where she was in her life and her willingness to trust and open up to me. And now she is one of my very best friends who we travel together. She's auntie to all of my kids.
I love that so much.
A great business partner when I think about how we refer business back and forth. And so in all facets of life.
She's amazing. It's so funny. I had reached out to her maybe a year or two ago about doing some sales coaching just because of your relationship.
Yeah.
And she's absolutely delightful. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
She is huge in teaching me how to be a really great servant leader.
So smart, so good, so quick to get. Like, she so quickly understood our needs and came back with a great proposal. Things were shifting at the time. It was when I was leaving HRD. And so we obviously didn't use her because I left. But it's a good example of the ripple effect. I mean, I learned about her through your relationship and came to really know and respect her through that.
Yeah, she's great.
So back to the clanking. I think I love the conversations that I don't often hear, but the things I think about. And just recently, I connected with someone who there were some people in my circles that, like, were talking about how just what an incredible coach and leader and person this guy was. And so I was on a call with him and did not resonate. And I think, like, the maturity that I'm in, it wasn't at all like there's nothing wrong with either of us.
Yeah.
It's just for whatever reason in that moment, like, it didn't land, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that the next time I connect with him, it's not going to be amazing. So I think it's important, like, not to generalize those one-off experiences.
Yeah. Or have some expectation. I don't go into relationships with an expectation. Now, that's not to say that there's not relationship expectations for people that are currently in your life, because I get caught up in that all the time with kids, with husband, with business partners, with all the things. But in a new relationship, I think you just have to lower the barrier to entry, which mine is pretty low already. And
is that why we're such good friends?
Right.
I made it in.
Yeah, got it. And sometimes you come out of it, especially like in a sales role, having an expectation of them being able to do something for you or you do something for them. And I just go in with an open mind and let the conversation lead itself. Of course, there's an agenda. Of course, I want to come out, like I said, bringing value to them and hopefully find a way that they can help me in some sort of way. And it's okay if not. It's totally fine. Let the relationship be organic in the evolution.
It's in the evolution. Yeah. And I mean, so much of what you've said, Amber, is about like trusting life and that it is giving you exactly what you need in that moment. Yeah. This morning, I was on a call with a board that I'm on with a fellow board member. And I mean, we could not be more different. And so, not surprising, a lot of the times when we're in conversations and we're collaborating with something, we have very different ideas directionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I got off thinking like, oh my God, like I just working with her. And then I thought like, what a gift this is,
Mm-hmm.
that I get to learn through this challenge. And
Yes.
I think it's the attitude, right? That it's not about them. It's all about growth. Life is always giving us what we need to grow through it.
Yes.
I'm glad
Yes.
I'm glad I've gotten to a place in my life. I mean, not always. Of course, I was still frustrated, but pretty quickly after feeling that frustration, I asked, like, what am I learning through this?
My favorite instance of that, Andrea, is one of my business partners, Chris Mills, who, by the way, was the advocate in the room for me to get this job. Yeah,
Way to go, Chris Mills.
she's amazing. I'm a high ID on the disc, and she's a C.
Mhm.
And I went through our advanced leader program where we really deep dive into the disc and really understood the different types of behaviors and communication styles. And I walked out of there going, oh my God, I overwhelmed Chris with enthusiasm and conversation and excitement. I need to, you know, temper that back a little bit because it's so overwhelming because I'm so excited about everything. And so it's made for much better conversations. I bring a lot more data. I know exactly how to approach her with conversations. And we have worked through great conflict. We have had amazing conversations that have just really created a lot of growth, I think, for both of us. And I'm so appreciative of her willingness to go at this with me and help me see it and be different because she benefits, I benefit, the team benefits, everyone
Yes.
around us wins because we're doing hard things.
Yes. I mean, what a great example of clinking in the best way, as
Yeah.
you should, because neither of you is as smart as both of you,
Yeah, that's right.
and leveraging each other.
I love that. Neither of you are as smart as both of you.
Yeah.
That's good. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew why I loved you. We unlike every other engagement had spark like immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah. And it's funny how our paths crossed. I've watched you on forever on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I watched and I followed you and I admired you also. And then when
Right back at you.
TrueU finally put us together and I was like, yes, she is exactly who I think she is and she is my people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's good to pay attention to things that you admire in other, because I do think it's a reflection of what you value. And
Mm-hmm.
I think something I say a lot is never admire silently. Let's admire out loud, because not only does it reinforce that strength in that person, but it reinforces it within you as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, right back at you, my friend.
Thanks.
Speaking of TrueU,
Yeah.
I mean, what an incredible community. And it's so interesting. I mean, you are leading TrueU, but it's so interesting to hear you talk about your value of community and your ability to connect and bring people together. I mean, what a gift that you get to do that every day through this organization.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Andrea, I surrendered my career like March of 2021. And I was like, listen, I'm tired of chasing money and title. It's not working for me. Can somebody please help me out? And when I met Mike Lance and I shared with him who I was, not who I was on paper, but who I was, what I cared about. He had she's the right one. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity because I always say this, look, I wasn't looking for a job that provided me with purpose and passion. I already had that. I think everybody is gifted with that. You bring that to your work. You bring your purpose to the work. You bring your passion for people to the work. And in this place, in the culture community, oh my gosh, I am in the room with some of the most amazing leaders in our community that are going through things, who are vulnerable, who need other people to help them walk this walk so that they can make it, so that they can continue to thrive. And it is it is the place, Andrew. When I walk in those rooms, I'm like, yes, this is 100% it
Mm.
for me.
It is great what you all are doing. I love it and I see it. What do you think it is right now that is driving community in such a powerful way, more so than we've seen
Yeah.
in our careers? Like, why right now is community so important?
I think it was COVID. I think we were all isolated for so long, and we
Mm.
weren't allowed, in quotes for those of us not watching. We weren't allowed to be with the people, and then we took it for granted. And a lot of people were at home and alone, and the whole work from home thing happened. And so now I think people are starting to realize I don't want to be alone, and I need people. And it was awkward re-entry, Andrea. Like, people were coming out going, I don't even know how to talk to people in person anymore
Mm.
because it's been virtual. It's been through text. And I think that we have got to figure out how to be in community for others because we need it. And the next generations need it also because they are in a world of isolation because they live through text messaging. They live through the world of of technology. They live in phones. And we've got to teach them how to be able to be in community and to be able to collaborate with others. Back to what you said. No one is as smart as the two of us.
Well, we're hardwired for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's so critical.
And the work is hard. Like trying to do this alone and trying to figure out how to live life, it's just hard. And people need other people, even if it's just a soft place to land, a place to share. This is how I'm feeling. This is the area where it hurts. This is where it's hard.
And struggle together.
Yeah.
I'd much rather take that hill with someone than do it on my own.
Yeah. And I think a lot of companies are also doing more with less. And so lots of people are having to work harder and not having that opportunity to be out with people. And I am here to tell you, get out, go be with people, because every time people walk out of our room, they're like, I needed that more than I knew that I needed that.
It's like that workout or that meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being with people who get it.
Yeah. It raises the vibration in the room. It raises the energy. It helps. You said it also. It's like a mirror. You see back who you are. And so you're reminded.
And we're learning through each other.
Yeah.
All of it.
Sure.
Well, I'm so grateful for the work that you all are doing at TrueU.
We're blessed.
Great leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you for reminding us of the power of community. Thank you for reminding us of the impact of having people who will be an advocate for us when we are not in the room and how to do that. Thank you for telling us how to nurture relationships and how to be okay when we clank.
Yeah.
That's part of it as well.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes we're just not in the right headspace to be cohesive and sometimes it feels clanky because you got stuff going on in your life, and that's okay too.
Yeah. Okay. So before we conclude, I want to try something different. So I have this little box of icebreaker cards.
So fun.
And I love these. So I used to conclude the episodes with some rapid fire questions, but then it was like the same questions.
Yeah.
What would happen in the spirit of,
oh boy,
life gives you exactly what you need? What if I just draw a random card?
Let's do it.
Neither of us have any idea. Neither of us have, look, you don't, I'm just reaching into the middle of this deck. Are you ready?
Let's go.
If you could buy your dream house, Amber, what is one weird room or feature that you would have?
My goodness. One weird feature that I would have in my house.
In your dream house.
Dream house.
A weird room or feature.
I don't know that it would be weird, Andrea. I just want to look out and there be a beach.
Okay.
Me and the ocean are one.
Bring it to life.
Yeah. I'm also a mountain girl. I love mountains, but I love the beach too.
Now, would this be out your bedroom, out your living room, out your kitchen? You want like a whole wall that's a window? What do you want?
The whole living room, kitchen. I want all of it to be able to look out right over the water.
I think you're manifesting it right now as we speak.
Please, yes. Yes. The problem I think you were going to ask is where. I have one kid in Pensacola. I have one currently in Kansas. So it would be like, where would we go? I don't know.
Yeah. Pensacola for the beach for sure, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But she's not going to be there forever. So it's one of those where maybe we get a family house in the Carolinas or something. Who knows?
I wish you would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my friend, thank you so much for showing up with your big old heart as you always do.
Oh.
Tell our listeners if they want to connect with you, which no doubt they will, where can they find you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is really the best place to connect with me. I am an avid LinkedIn poster, stalker, communicator on there, sharer. So look me up on LinkedIn, Amber Fields.
Absolutely. And TrueU, where can they find TrueU?
Yep, on LinkedIn also, or at TrueU, and that's TrueU.com. Everybody's like, why is TrueU so weird? I got that yesterday. They're like, why do you spell it weird?
I love it.
Yeah, TrueU.com.
Well, thank you, my friend. I'm so grateful for you, rooting for you always.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Let's connect to go a bit deeper. How can I help you? Looking for an executive coach, a facilitator for a team or leader engagement, or a high energy, heartfelt speaker? Learn more and connect with me through our website at abundantempowerment.com. I look forward to co-creating something magical with you.